feel like our equivalent of a new album drop for writers just happened. So Brandon Sanderson started releasing his 2025 writing lectures, and I am very excited for them. Brandon Sanderson is a name that needs no introduction if you're into fantasy writing, or fantasy reading for that matter. He's the best-selling author behind Mistborn, The Stormlight Archive, and The Wheel of Time finale. But here's what sets him apart from many other successful authors is he's also a really amazing teacher. So why is this such a big deal? Back in 2020, Sanderson released his college-level writing lectures at Brigham Young University online for free, and they are gold. They were jam-packed with practical, actionable advice that you could apply to your writing, and most importantly, he had tools that you could use to help get through challenges as you write. And as a bonus for sci-fi and fantasy writers, he has great advice specific to those genres. And now, 5 years later, he's back with a brand new lecture series for 2025. From the first couple of episodes, it's already clear that these are going to be just as incredible, if not better than his last series. He's bringing fresh insights, diving into new topics, and building on the foundations he laid in 2020. So a little about why his lectures are so good and what makes them stand out from other writing lectures I've listened to. The first thing is he has really practical advice. So Sanderson isn't about big motivational quotes. His advice is clear, actionable, and immediately useful. He teaches you the how of writing, how to craft compelling characters, how to tackle plot, lots of juicy world building stuff. He doesn't just focus on the creative side of writing, he also covers the publishing process, time management, and building a sustainable career as a writer. The second thing is he clearly has deep knowledge in the subject he's talking about. As one of the best world builders in the industry, Sanderson dives in deep into topics like magic systems, creating believable settings, and making your story feel alive. I'm not going to give away too much, but an example from his 2020 lecture on world building is what he calls Sanderson's first law. It's your ability to solve problems with magic in a satisfying way is directly proportional to how well the reader understands said magic. So there he's specifically talking about the spectrum of rules for your magic system. Some people like to have a very detailed set of rules around their system, and some people are more fluffy and don't exactly know how it works. But he's essentially saying that the system can be successful if the readers feel satisfied with how problems are solved. Number 3 is he's entertaining to listen to. I just really like listening to him talk about writing. You hear his passion and knowledge, and it's a great way to spend your time. His teaching style makes complex ideas feel accessible no matter where you're at in your writing journey as well. So look back at the 2020 topics that he covered. He had an intro to science fiction and fantasy writing, a plot deep dive, viewpoint, world building, short stories with a guest lecturer, characters, publishing, and let me know in the comments if you've actually seen the 2020 series already. I'd like to hear your thoughts. It looks like 2025 is going to be a similar schedule of topics, but with a different guest lecture in the middle of February. And he has blog articles this year that summarize the lessons really well. So even if you don't want to go and watch the videos, taking a look at the blog articles could be really helpful, and you can skim through kind of the main topics that he's talking about. So you might be asking, if I didn't watch 2020, should I skip and go right to 2025? So I can already tell that there is some different info being discussed, but if you only have time for one set, go for 2025 because he's had 5 more years to develop as a writer. But I think it's worth it if you have time to listen to both. Brandon Sanderson has recently released the first 2 lectures of his 2025 reading series, and they are already proving to be invaluable resources for writers. Here's a brief overview of what I've seen so far. Lecture 1 is the philosophy of professional writing. In this first lecture, Sanderson delves into the mindset required for professional writing. He emphasizes the importance of understanding your personal writing process and encourages writers to view their early works as learning experiences. A key takeaway is his advice to write multiple novels before seeking publication. In fact, he says 5, which is a ton of work to write 5 novels before you would seriously consider publication, but that's just how he emphasizes making this a learning experience. This practice helps in honing one's craft and discovering individual strengths and weaknesses. But he also touches on making a living as a novelist and topics like writing in the same world and writing groups. Lecture 2 was all about plot theory. So the second lecture focuses on plot development, where Sanderson introduces his approach to structuring narratives. He discusses the interplay between little p plot, the sequence of events, and big P plot, the thematic and character-driven elements to create a cohesive and engaging story. In this lecture, he also talks about tone, conflict, structure, and a satisfying ending. This lecture provides practical frameworks for constructing plots that resonate with readers. Now remember, Sanderson says this as well, you need to actually be writing to improve your craft. So try to fit these lectures around continuing to actually write. These lectures are honestly one of the best resources out there for writers, especially in the science fiction and fantasy genres. Whether you're just starting your first draft, revising your manuscript, or even querying agents, Sanderson's advice is invaluable. So grab a notebook, hit play on those lectures, and start applying what you learn. Thank you for watching and happy writing!